Hi guys, this is Mattias, and in this video I want to talk about the air gameplay and its place in Battlefield 1 for the first time. Now, I've played the game for a couple of days, and to be fair, it is a little bit too early to draw too many conclusions, but a lot of what I want to talk about in this video has to do with the air gameplay in general when it comes to multiplayer shooter games, and many times this is a very controversial topic. Now, in the past I've seen the community being divided into two different groups in this matter. There is a very small group of dedicated pilots, which is normally even less than 1% of the player population, and then you have everybody else. Now, among the big group of non-pilots, there are normally also quite a number of vocal players that are very much against anything that is related to air gameplay, and what we've seen in the past is a lot of trash talking directed towards pilots and the air gameplay, with lies about it being easier and more powerful than it actually is. And we'll also try to find arguments, true or false, to make anything that fly as weak as possible. Now, one of the problems that we've seen with this in the past has been that, based on the success of a very small group of pilots, previously mentioned group of toxic players will use that success, whatever statistics and footage they can get their hands on, to turn the broad community against air, and therefore also make the devs nerf it to the point where it's basically useless. Now, a lot of these experiences that I've had in the past comes from the game Planetside 2, but also from Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. Now, I can only assume that Battlefield 4 had similarities to Battlefield 3, but I didn't really play that game, so I can't tell. Now, the biggest problem that I see here has to do with accessibility. Now, there will always be a small group of elite pilots or aces that are going to make use of airplanes no matter what. But that isn't really what a game like Battlefield 1 is about, at least not in my opinion. I believe that the air gameplay should be accessible and enjoyable for a big group of the community. The problem is, of course, how powerful should air be, how powerful in the hands of what kind of players, and how difficult should it be to fly. Now, these are quite complex questions. Now, one of the things that makes the air gameplay so much fun and so interesting is that it is relatively hard. And don't let the footage in this video fool you. These are hand-picked moments from a lot of flying. And keep in mind that I am a rather experienced pilot from several games in the past. Now, one of the things that we've seen in the games that I played earlier is that the developers have had a lot of freedom when it comes to choosing weapons and the way the aircrafts behave, based on modern and futuristic and even alien technology, or whatever you want to say. And as much as this could have made the gameplay very interesting, instead we've seen it go in the opposite direction. It has become simplified to the point where it gets really boring. Now, with Battlefield 1 we have a relatively unique situation compared to the other games that I played, and that is that this game takes place during World War I, which limits the developers, DICE that is, possibilities and options to add or remove too much of any part of the gameplay. So now, needless to say, one of the biggest deciding factors here is the counter to air, anti-air. And here, so far, all games that I've played follows the same pattern. As much as it's very hard to learn how to fly and to be a successful pilot, it's normally very easy to counter it. Now, before I get into anti-air, let me just mention something here really quick, and that is the pilot loadout. Just like if you spawn into a horse or a tank, if you spawn into a plane, you will not have any of the 4 default loadouts, which is Scout, Medic, Assault, and Support. So if you bail out the way I did, you will instead have the pilot loadout, which is probably, in my opinion at least, or in my experience so far, the weakest loadout out of all of the different loadouts that you have in this game. So keep that in mind if you only want to use the plane for transport. This weapon, as weak as it is, what makes it worse is that it has a very poor iron sight. It's very hard, in my opinion, to see the opponents when you're scoping in with it, and the damage is very low. So now, back to AA. You basically deal damage over the entire map. Took out another plane. Vehicle disabled, killed.
Sighted an enemy bomber.
We have taken objective Edward.
Ah, bomber. Oh, holy shit, can they bomb in that direction? Right. So yeah, the bigger and more powerful bombers, they do have quite some resistance towards the anti-air, but the fighters and the attack planes are basically chanceless. They have to just get away. Now, one of the problems here that I want to mention is that as much as the smaller attack and fighter planes have much more speed and agility, they quite quickly get disabled by the anti-air. Several times I have had my plane disabled, even though I've been above 90 hit points. And once you are disabled, your maneuverability is so hindered that there is no way getting away from, well, basically anything. Especially not anti-air. Anti-air is pretty good.
Did you kill that plane by D?
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of landed on me.
It landed on you, what?
Yes.
Oh, I got sniped, but I killed an infantry with it. So what, it killed you?
Yeah, it landed on me.
What the fuck? So yeah, using anti-air, it's not without its risks. Snipers, tanks, and anything else can kill you quite quickly, and I have also taken out quite a lot of anti-air using the assault plane. But you do counter air really fast with a lot of power, and after just a few seconds, you don't have to worry about any planes anymore. Assuming you are successful, of course.
We have taken objective Duff.
So yeah, when it comes to accessibility, balance and some such, we'll just have to wait and see where DICE decides to put the game. There will probably be quite a number of changes back and forward, and we'll just have to see how it all turns out. Now, as you've seen in this video so far, I almost exclusively use this plane, the attack plane, with the anti-infantry loadout. It's relatively versatile. It can be used both against infantry, some light vehicles, and enemy aircrafts. But it only works for as long as your enemy team doesn't purposely counter you with their own planes. And the counter to what you see me doing here is the fighter plane. It is an absolute beast against especially what you see me using here, the attack plane. But it is very specialized, and the things that you see here, where I'm taking out ground targets, or well, mainly infantry players, but also light vehicles, that is something that is much harder to do, in my experience at least, with the fighter. Even though there are some people that have told me that there is a specific loadout that I've only tried for like half an hour or so, that is supposed to be really good, but I have yet to make it work for me. On the other hand though, this game is new, I am new to it, and it is of course very likely that I will change my mind about the fighter plane in the future. I will show you a little bit of gameplay from when I'm using the fighter plane in just a few seconds here.
Halfway there, the enemy has the upper hand.
This must be... Vehicle disabled.
We have taken objective Charlie.
The assault planes have no chance against the fighter plane. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah. The fighter, like the one I'm in now, it wrecks the regular plane. Like they have no fucking chance. Unless they get into a fight with themselves, or if like the bomber that shoots it backwards. That's dangerous. Oh, they're coming to A? If you're an A? No, where are you?
Going in.
Yeah, okay.
Fox
Yeah.
room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the fighter is for speed, agility, and air superiority. And as I'm sure you can tell, you do not have to lead nearly as much with this weapon as you do with the loadout of the attack plane that I've been using in this video. I think, however, you can use this gun for the attack plane or a very similar one if you choose that loadout. I'm not entirely sure, because I don't see the reason why, because if I want to go for air, I would just pick the fighter. So fucking hard to hit people with a fighter jet to kill them. It's like almost impossible. Oh, I got him. Now, as I mentioned, some of you guys who has been watching my videos have suggested that I try out a specific loadout for this fighter jet with the rockets. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure of the name of it, but I think I've found it and tried it a little bit, but I haven't been very successful with it. I'll show you a little bit of footage of it here. And if you have any other suggestions when it comes to the fighter, please share it in the comment section. So yeah, these rockets is part of the loadout that I've been talking about, and I think that's what people have mentioned for me. Now, I've heard that they are supposed to be really, really good, but I can't use them for shit. I don't know why. Normally, if I ever have any success with them, I basically miss the target completely, and this happens. So even though I've only been able to get a few kills with these rockets, I've had quite a lot more success with them using them against the bombers. You just have to get close enough. And I thought I had some footage of it, but I just can't seem to find it now. Oh yeah.
We have lost objective.
No bug. Fucking back.
I can see a plane.
This fighter plane, it takes out the other planes like it's nothing. What?
We have lost.
No.
I
You just
road
road
killed
kill
him.
him?
Yeah, I road killed him.
I was looking, that was funny to
Yeah.
see.
We have lost objective Duff.
So yeah, something about being disabled that has bothered me is that you can be disabled even though you basically take no damage at all. Here you see me get disabled even though I'm above 90 hit points. Yet even another thing worth mentioning is that it's only the fighter that is a one-seater. The bomber is, I believe, a three-seater and the attack plane a two-seater. And it's very rare, but it has happened that I have been the passenger, even though it's much more common that somebody is the passenger of my plane. So yeah, here's something that I've been struggling with for quite a while. The bombs of the attack plane that you can drop down. I have the default key binding for it, which is F. And they have a quite long cooldown. And I don't feel very comfortable sitting in that seat for too long when it comes to maneuvering and handling the plane. Whenever I see an opportunity, I quickly switch to that seat, pull up, and then I switched back to the main gun again. Now, it did take me quite a while before I got any kills doing this, but I'm still struggling with it. It is very rare, I have to say, that I even get 3 or more kills in a round using these bombs. But I'll show you a few of the ones that I've got so far.
We have lost objective Duff. We have taken objective Butter.
So even though this became a rather long video, there is a lot more to be said about this topic, and this is probably going to be a rather ongoing discussion. The air gameplay always becomes a quite hot topic. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you all for watching.
Fucking hell. Oh, there's a sniper on the other side as well. I think we need to go around on the other side.
Oh, he's
Just
dead.
gonna... Hmm?
He's dead.
Yeah, but this.
One in front of us.
We have taken objective
Oh, it's a
Alpha.
fucking
Oh, it's the
tank.
armored guy.
Enemy bomber! Watch it!
And the snipers were.
I kill him.
Oh, now friendly anti-air is shooting at me. Friendly anti-air.
Yeah. One behind.
We have lost objective Butter.
Oh! I got sniped out of the plane.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait.